A double life, the colonel and the spy. Oleg Penkovsky, a highly decorated colonel in Soviet military intelligence, led a perilous double life. Outwardly, he was a loyal Soviet citizen. Rising through the ranks of the GRU, the Soviet military intelligence agency, he excelled in his career, gaining access to sensitive information and moving within the circles of power. Yet beneath the surface of this dedicated officer lurked a secret. Penkovsky was a spy for the West, risking everything to prevent a nuclear war. Penkovsky's decision to betray his country was not driven by greed or personal gain. Instead, it stemmed from a deep-seated disillusionment with the Soviet regime and its policies. He witnessed firsthand the brutality and oppression that characterized the Soviet system. The horrors of Stalin's purges and the crushing of the Hungarian uprising solidified his belief that the Soviet government posed a grave threat to world peace. Driven by a conscience burdened by the secrets he held, Penkovsky decided to act. He made contact with Western intelligence agencies, offering his services as a double agent. His motivation was simple but profound: to prevent a nuclear war that he believed the Soviet Union was edging closer to. Disillusionment and defiance, stepping into the shadows. Penkovsky's journey into espionage was fraught with danger at every turn. He lived with the constant threat of exposure, knowing that discovery meant certain death. Yet he pressed on, driven by his unwavering belief that the Soviet regime posed an existential threat to humanity. His disillusionment with the Soviet system began long before his foray into espionage. Penkovsky witnessed firsthand the hypocrisy and brutality of the Soviet government. The crushing of the Hungarian uprising in 1956, where Soviet tanks rolled through the streets of Budapest, left a deep scar on his conscience. He realized then that the ideals of communism he had once believed in were a far cry from the reality of Soviet oppression. The turning point for Penkovsky came with the rise of Nikita Khrushchev and his increasingly belligerent rhetoric against the West. Khrushchev's boasts of Soviet military might and his threats to bury the capitalist world deeply disturbed Penkovsky. He saw through the propaganda and recognized the dangerous path the Soviet Union was on. A bridge of secrets, Penkovsky's network. Driven by his convictions, Penkovsky reached out to the West, offering his services as a spy. He established contact with MI6, the British intelligence service, and the CIA, providing them with a treasure trove of information about Soviet military capabilities and intentions. Penkovsky's espionage activities were nothing short of audacious. He used his position within the GRU to gather highly classified documents, photographing them with a miniature Minox camera provided by MI6. He met with his handlers from MI6 and the CIA in clandestine locations, passing on microfilm concealed in everyday objects like cigarette lighters and fountain pens. The information Penkovsky provided was invaluable. He revealed the true extent of Soviet missile deployments, including the existence of intermediate-range nuclear missiles capable of striking Western Europe. He provided detailed plans of Soviet military installations, order of battle information, and insights into Soviet military thinking. Section 4. Unmasking the Cuban Threat, Penkovsky's Vital Intelligence. Penkovsky's intelligence proved particularly crucial during the Cuban Missile Crisis. His photographs of Soviet missile sites in Cuba provided irrefutable proof of Khrushchev's gamble, confirming US suspicions and giving President John F. Kennedy the leverage he needed to confront the Soviets. Penkovsky's information allowed the US to identify the types of missiles being deployed in Cuba, their range, and their potential targets. This intelligence was crucial in shaping the US response, enabling them to establish a naval blockade around Cuba and prevent further shipments of Soviet missiles. Moreover, Penkovsky's insights into Khrushchev's thinking and the internal dynamics of the Kremlin were instrumental in helping Kennedy navigate the crisis and find a peaceful resolution. The world held its breath as the two superpowers stood on the brink of nuclear war. However, thanks in part to Penkovsky's courage and the vital intelligence he provided, a catastrophe was averted. The crisis was resolved through diplomacy, with the Soviets agreeing to remove their missiles from Cuba in exchange for a US pledge not to invade the island. Section 5. Legacy of a Hero, Sacrifice and Remembrance. Tragically, Penkovsky's espionage activities were not to last. In October 1962, just as the Cuban Missile Crisis was reaching its peak, Penkovsky was arrested by the KGB. Betrayed by a suspected double agent within the CIA, he was interrogated, tortured, and convicted of treason in a sham trial. He was executed on May 16, 1963, his death a stark reminder of the risks undertaken by those who dare to oppose tyranny. Despite his tragic end, Oleg Penkovsky's legacy lives on. His courage in standing up to a totalitarian regime, his unwavering belief in the importance of peace, and his willingness to sacrifice his life to prevent a nuclear holocaust make him one of the unsung heroes of the Cold War. Penkovsky's actions serve as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, individuals can make a difference. His story is a testament to the human spirit's ability to resist oppression and fight for a better world. Though his life was cut short, Oleg Penkovsky's legacy continues to inspire, reminding us of the importance of courage, conviction, and the pursuit of peace in a world often shrouded in shadows.